We have multiple queued up showing Biden's utter confusion. He did not have the facts. He was confused over very basic facts, and it was repeated. Take a listen to this, Sat 3.
We have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Oh my God. That's it. That's it, Emily. I mean, I'm looking at my own notes as this unfolded, and here's how they read. So rehearsed, so old, phlegm, needs subtitles. What is he saying? So fast, rehearsed, can barely understand. He's done. That and so frail is my other. What was he saying? He beat Medicare, the trillions, the trillionaires, what he's done with COVID. He was all over the map.
And that was fairly early in the debate. So the vast majority of everybody who will consume the debate consumed that moment. So people saw that happen live. There's no spin in the world. There's no Joe Biden had a cold that can in any way whatsoever change people's opinion of what they saw happen in front of them on that. And, you said when you were in your opening, it sort of gave me chills. It's like a dark day in America. That is exactly how I feel. It's a very sad day to be an American because that is the president of the United States. The first lady is responsible for putting him in this position. There's no question about that in my mind. The people close to him are responsible for putting him in this position. And on top of that, we're seeing reactions roll in. The New York Times, during the debate, published a story saying that sources were telling one of their columnists, 3 Democratic sources telling their columnists that they were just stunned and shocked. We saw Casey Hunt say something similar over at MSNBC. And I'm curious, are they pretending to be surprised? Because people close to Joe Biden who have spent time with Joe Biden have got to have known. I mean, we saw him do a press conference not that long ago where he was telling everybody, Robert Hur was wrong and he was losing track of his sentences there. But here we are, fast forward to the debate. In addition to that Medicare answer, his answer on abortion became an answer on immigration. Yeah. It was impossible to follow. He had no train of thought to follow. It was a disaster. I've really never seen anything like it.
That was a critical moment. It was terrible. It was another moment where we were all grabbing each other in my house. Like, what just happened? The question was about abortion, and he brought Laken Riley into it without naming her, this nursing student in Georgia who was murdered by an illegal. Here is the moment, Sat 4.
I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart, but you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things.
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Guys. Bizarre. I mean, the only word for it is bizarre, right? I mean, what is, sometimes he's mumbly and confused, but kind of know what he's getting at.
Depressing.
Yes, sad's a good word. But this is hard, beyond comprehension.
Unrecoverable. He cannot go on. That's it. Those were the moments. I don't care. He did improve slightly toward the ends of the 90 minutes. It's irrelevant. Remember at the time we saw him confuse two critical pieces of his legislation? I don't remember the two that he got confused, but he was in the midst of trying to make a point about one, and he meandered over and started talking about the other. And we were all like, what did he just do? He juxtaposed the legislation and trying to make his point. It wasn't a one-off. He can't keep the facts straight in his own head about something as simple as abortion versus illegal immigration. He had his rehearsed lines, and like a robot, Emily, he got a glitch that wasn't fixable without the handlers.
And he spent the last week not being president of the United States, but in at Camp David, doing debate prep. And, not being the president of the United States, he was obviously doing both, but it's highly unusual to take an entire week while you're president of the United States, go to Camp David and prep. What's even more unusual, obviously, is then to come out looking like there was no prep in the world that could have prepared you to answer a basic question. My word association with that clip is medical. This is medical. For all of the conversation about Donald Trump and the 25th Amendment during his presidency, I mean, that has to be seriously on the table as the American people figure out what is going on with the man who is making nuclear decisions. There are two hot wars right now, one in Ukraine, one in the Middle East. And this is the man with the power over our military. That is the commander in chief. It's beyond a presidential election. I think what everybody just saw, those clips are going to be so viral. Forget how many people actually even watched this live. I think the number was pretty high. But Biden's moments there, they will be viral. They will live in infamy. They will never, ever, ever escape him. His entire reputation will be tethered to this for the rest of his life.
I agree with every word you just said, Rich. I feel like we're in danger tonight. The country's now in danger.
Yeah, but this isn't really news. It just has brought it home more starkly. And it kind of makes you think, what were they thinking, right? They didn't need to agree to debates. It would have been embarrassing. The Trump camp would have said, look, he's running scared. He can't do it. But it'd be better to have people saying you can't do it rather than going out and demonstrating you can't do it. And, 9 o'clock at night for this man now, it's like 1 a.m, right? And Emily's point is exactly right. This is after a week of preparation. This isn't like a president of the United States that we've traditionally seen that doesn't do well in the first debate because they're not prepared, and they're not ready for it and they take it too casually, right? No, this is a guy who's been doing nothing else, and probably all day today he was sleeping with cucumber slices over his eyes, and this is the best they could get out of him. And these moments, because they're weird, maybe they're a little funny, probably more sad as you put it, but they're weird, so they'll be played over and over again, and they will be the main impression out of the debate, no doubt.
We've never seen anything like it. Rick Perry lost his presidential race. He was trying to become the Republican nominee because he said there are 3 agencies we should eliminate, and he couldn't remember one. That was enough to eliminate him as a candidate for president. This president can't understand the difference between abortion and illegal immigration. What does it even mean he did beat Medicare? Those are just some examples. We have many more of what's leading to the panic at this moment within the Democratic Party. Forget the country. We should all be panicked. But the Democratic Party is at, I think, a 10 right now. This from, I mentioned it in passing, Nick Kristof of the New York Times. I wish Biden would reflect on this debate performance and then announce his decision to withdraw from this race, throwing the choice of Democratic nominee to the convention. Someone like Gretchen Whitmer or Sherrod Brown or Secretary Raimondo could still jump in and beat Trump. And then there's Joy Reid over at MSNBC. Watch this.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak.
Yeah, that sounds honest for once. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.